Good news, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Guys, today we've got a 3v3 counter for you. We've got the 3v3 season coming up. Kat, Commander Ahsoka Tano, is in the game and finally available in 3v3, and everyone wants to know where she's going to be going. How are we going to beat her if she is with any of the Galactic Legends, especially in 3v3, and we can't answer every single question, but I did do some extensive testing today on trying to take out the Rey with Ahsoka team because she has so much extra health, so much extra offense. It is really tough, and it's instrumental actually to use Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. I don't think he's the only way to do it, but it is pretty fun. I'll show you guys how that works. I also did a lot of testing with Sith Eternal against Rey with Kat, and then at the end we also have a couple other options testing against Kenobi with Kat, and you guys will have to see what the verdict is, but it's pretty interesting. Now, I did test it pretty extensively, like I said. End All Be All is the one who deserves the credit for coming up with the idea of Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, and he did do some initial testing. I did more testing on top of that, so you can see here that I have spent every last refresh. I spent thousands of crystals. So if anyone ever feels like they want to, I don't know. Gosh, I feel like I'm asking for money. So I'll just say this, guys. Thank you so much to my patrons. This isn't an updated sheet, and I apologize to those who are not on here, or for those of you who should not be on here. I think there's at least one. So I still just want to say thank you guys so much to my patrons. You guys have been amazing. You make testing days like this possible. This has been so helpful in trying to figure out the new things, and yeah, check out my Patreon sometime, guys, and see if your doctor thinks that Patreon is right for you. So that being said, folks, let's get to the actual fighting. I have one last thing to say. Please, guys, if you like the video, please hit that like button or leave a comment below or sub. Any of those three things help. That helps the channel for free. If you don't want to do Patreon, you can hit the thumbs up button. If you do want to do Patreon, also hit the thumbs up, please. That being said, let's actually, for real, get to the fighting. Alright, so once again, we're gonna have to pause it here. This watermark is taking up too much. Okay, so guys, here's the idea behind it all, alright? The idea is when Kat does her big hit, her annihilate, you can see here I've slowed it way down. When she does that, it kills Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, but he has buffs on him, and he comes back to life. Now, this happened to me a couple different times, and it was pretty cool that he came back. However, you have to realize he's so weakened now that he usually just dies. You can see the end result here. You can see the end result there. He died. So, nothing too crazy. Now, one thing I do want to point out, guys. So, you know, we're getting the win here. Okay. All right, guys. So let's pause it for 1 second. I'm going to show you one full fight, and then the rest of them are going to be kind of snippets here and there because we don't want to make this video too crazy long. Now, one thing I want to point out is if you don't understand the mechanics of the Rey mirror match, we're going to be going over some of them, but I'm going to be going under the assumption that you guys know at least a modicum of what's going on. And so if you don't have any idea and you just don't understand, I'm going to link in the video description below my Rey counter video. It's pretty long, but it is exhaustive, and you'll understand very well how the mirror works. So this adaptation won't really mess with you too much. So the biggest hurdles here are that Kat gives Rey 50% health, and she gives Rey 50% offense, which is problematic, obviously, because Rey is already doing a ton of damage in 3v3. And so before we were using Basti, and Basti I tried it with her, and she just doesn't work that well because she eventually just takes it. She just gets hit and dies and doesn't do anything because L3 is just taunting the whole time. And so what can we do to stop that? We can take we can take Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Now Endall actually has video of him using a Gear 12 Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. I wasn't brave enough to do that. I have a Relic 5 Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, but this is a Rey at I believe that this video he's at right around 11,500 offense on Rey naturally, and Cat that's like 376 speed, so pretty good stats on both of them. Now you can see that we're just trying to spam that lifeblood. Now the whole offense on the entire team, of course, is coming from our Rey. Like Scarif isn't going to be doing damage, Hoda obviously isn't going to be doing damage, and so we're just basically relying on our ultimate and being canny about what we're doing, and then lifeblood at the right time. So you want to use a lifeblood toward the end there, right before Rey is about to pop her ult. Then you can use your lifeblood because you're safe, because she's going to use her ult next. It's very important that you tuck into your own ultimate right before she hits you with hers. So you kind of got to judge when that's going to be. And I was able to judge with 100% accuracy on this time. So, we have to take out L3 first, basically, because L3 is just going to keep taunting, and we want to be able to whirlwind who we want, when we want. And if we work on L3 and then we're like, oh, we can hit Cat, eventually, like, all of the lifeblood from the opponent Rey, is just going to just... Gosh, I was going to say become death blood, but that makes no sense. It's going to just kill us, basically, because we need to take both of these characters out as quick as we can. We don't want to time out, and we want, though, on the other hand, really want to avoid getting all the whirlwinds done to us. You can see she has almost no turn meter at all, so just wait a turn. Really don't want to hit that ultimate when she has all that offense and everything going on. But once you absorb it, then you can take out L3 eventually. It takes a while. It really can take a while because she's just spamming lifeblood, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. It sucks. And so we're just waiting, biding our time. Make sure that you understand how the whirlwind mechanics work as well, because there was one time that I kept messing around with it while I was testing, and I could not for the life of me get whirlwind, and that eventually spelled my doom. Like, you need whirlwind to make this work, but whirlwind on Rey herself doesn't really do that much. So just having Hoda here to be able to heal you when you need to, and then just spamming that lifeblood and doing all of that, waiting until the ult is ready. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well, you do want Master's Training on Rey kind of quick. You want to put it on Scarif because he needs those buffs, but and he's going to be taking hits and everything. But you want the Master's Training on Rey as well. You can sometimes, depending on what comp it is, you can wait to use it until you have you can wait to use the Master's Training until you have a debuff to dispel or something. That being said, you do want it on her before she does her first ult because it does extra damage. Now, so I tested that comp many times. That I only showed you once, but we're going to show you more Jedi Training Rey mirror matches with Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, just against a stronger comp than this. But first, I want to show you, we were testing for a while using Sith Eternal and Armorer, and so I wanted to show you guys a couple things. This is very important, folks. So with Cat, obviously Rey is doing a ton of damage, and we're trying to figure out, okay, so if the Armorer survives, what you really need to be able to have two people eat that initial ultimate, because you can't get your ultimate with Sith Eternal before Rey gets her ultimate. She's going to hit you, and you're not going to be able to take out Cat, and then she is going to do a huge amount of damage. So you need someone to help share the load, as Sam would say. You can see here, if she goes her ultimate with two people, then or with one person, then Sith Eternal just dies. And my Sith Eternal is 170k health before he gets all of his stat bonuses. So I stumbled across something among something, one of these prepositions, guys. But I stumbled into something when someone in chat was like, hey, use Thrawn here, and I was like, I really don't want to use Thrawn. And then he ended up getting whirlwinded before he could do anything because he was faster than Armor, etc. But we used all 3 characters, and then when I was like, man, I just don't think Sith Eternal's viable against this build. Against Rey with Cat, I just don't think it's going to happen. And then light bulb occurred, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is wonderful, because if Armor can survive, so one character is going to eat a whirlwind, and they're just going to die. But if you can share the ultimate damage from Rey, then Armor is suddenly just like kind of good to go. I mean, Armor isn't good to go, but we do need that Beskar. We need at least 2 ingots, right? And so we shared the hit because Cat is still around and has all of this, is boosting the offense on Rey. So now we need to be sure we're going to pop our ultimate, we're going to relink, and once we finally relink, we can take out they're going to relinquish their ability to beat us. So once you get it down to just Rey, it's no problem. And the Rey bug that wasn't affecting me at all today. All of my tests, the Rey with Cat bug, where when Cat dies, that Rey ends up, keeping all that offense. That didn't happen to me today. I don't know if they fixed it or if it's just in certain circumstances, like certain characters have to be around, like Vader or something. But once again, just showing you when you have the Armor around, then to help you eat the ult, to help share the load, then you're good to go. So the sketchy part, guys, is if they kill Armor before she does her ult, if they kill both characters, both adds before she does the ult, things get dicey real quick. And so I'm going to show you a stronger build here in a minute with, instead of L3, Jedi training Rey, and it gets dicey. So anyways, I mean, once the Armor survives, or someone survives until that first ultimate from Rey, then you're just good to go. And you see, we're just kind of skipping around here. This is multiple different tests, guys, just showing you different clips. So now we're doing Sith Eternal against this version as well. And so I'm using Shore Trooper just because he's got a pre-taunt and everything we want. We want the Armor to be able to survive until she gets the 3rd Beskar ingot. And so that necessitates Shore Trooper taking a whirlwind to the face. And I guess that's okay. Now, the Jedi Training Rey team is scary because she does ability block and she does healing immunity. And that is terrifying for Sith Eternal because the healing immunity can't be dispelled at all. And so, he needs to be able to heal, obviously. You can see how close to death Armor is. And I'm like, gosh, so Sith Eternal is maxed on health, even as the plus 15 health from the Armor's Beskar stuff, and Armor just barely survives long enough. Now, this build kills both adds much quicker, and so keep in mind my Armor is only Relic 2, I think she has an offense triangle, so she could be optimized as a tank way better. But just keep in mind that they are all Relic, and that Shore Trooper is Relic 5, and he just dies like a dog. So just showing you all this footage here because I think this is one of the times that Armor just dies before we can actually take a turn. So Armor's dead, and you can see I waited for a while, that's why we had a break, and she did her ult, and my Sith Eternal, who's modded like crazy to have all of the health and everything, barely survives, but still needs to relink. And pretty soon, I think we're going to get healing immunity and stuff. And honestly, like, most Sith Eternals are just going to die in this situation. Yeah, we got ability blocked with no one to dispel it for us because, I think Watt probably works here, but we want Watt for something else, right? Like, our Armor is more expendable. She's just as good of a babysitter. So anyways, I was just able to take out the adds right before I got taken out. So with that build, guys, you need to make sure that you're going to have one character survive for that to help Sith Eternal through that first first ult, then you're good to go. Then you take out Cat, Rey's offense diminishes and leaves for the west, and remains Galadriel, and then Sith Eternal can just tank it from there. Now, we're going to do the same build. People in the stream were like, they were all discontent. They're like, but what can Rey beat that team? Can the Rey mirror with Scarif Rebel Pathfinder do it? And I was like, fine. You guys are awesome for showing so much interest, in fact. So once again, we're spamming Lifeblood on Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Keep in mind, too, guys, I did a lot of tests, and I'm keeping the ones that I feel like I played the best, not necessarily have the best results. And in this case, in this video, I do actually, I think that all of my best results were also the ones that I played the best, which, I mean, there's like a positive correlation there, right? I mean, it's not too crazy to think that maybe if I play well that I'm rewarded with good results, but you know how RNG works. So just keep in mind that you know, that's... In this case, you have to cherry pick when you're making these videos. I can't just show you an hour and a half of raw testing footage, and expect you guys to actually click on the video. Some of you would, I'm absolutely sure. If you want to see it, go check it out on Twitch. That is available for you guys to see. So once again, I took out Jedi Training Rey first, then I took out Cat. I think Jedi Training Rey just because I'm scared of her healing immunity. Cat, we could probably take out Cat as well. I think she's harder. Now, okay, so, I mean, that's one instance of it, but you guys, like, it works. It does work. That comp is significantly harder, though. Those were the ones that I lost the most to, so just keep that in mind. Now the last couple matches, I only had like 3 or 4 fights left, and I was like, all right, guys, what other things do you want to see? And everyone in the chat was like, we want to see Kenobi with Cat and GK. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, let's do that. I don't want to do the mirror, though. Everyone who has the mirror characters already knows how to do it. So let's just go for let's try Sith Eternal, because that's the one that's who I would pin my hopes to. So I think we did try a couple other builds initially, and really, like, the only traction we got at all was when we finally started using the Geo Brood Alpha. Now keep in mind, once again, we need to get that 3rd stack of Beskar here. We really do. Against Kenobi, that is super important, because then we can't be crit, and we're going to be healing a lot, hitting back a lot, really important stuff. So you need that 3rd stack of Beskar. You need to have a tank that can die and be revived again. So I have a Relic for Geo Brood Alpha, and he dies pretty quick. Once we finally get our ult here, though, then we're good to go. So what I discovered was, if you just link GK, because you have to, because he's taunting, and then you just link Cat right away, that's all you really need to do. Like, you don't really have to worry about linking GK and then relinking later. Like, that's not a thing. So anyways, we tested that for a while, and if Armor and Geo Brood Alpha live for like long enough for us to get our ult, then we're good. If not, if it's just Sith Eternal for a long time against Cat and Kenobi and company, that's some good alliteration, then in combat, then you just lose. I didn't feel like that one was super reliable, but again, if you make your characters more tanky than mine are, probably going to have a higher degree of success. So I think my armor is going to get a little bit of love coming up. I don't know where I'm going to get the relic mats, but that is going to be a thing. So final match, guys. We're just going to go super fast here, and this is going to be fixed by CG. They've already said it's going to be fixed, but you can see Zombie just keeps regaining advantage, and so every time they kill Zombie, then Zombie just comes back with taunt, and they don't have a way to, well, so he actually gives them the high ground, but they're just like, you know what, we're gonna kill Zombie first. Once we finish Zombie, then we'll finish the rest of these guys. And so they literally just let me do this the whole time. You can see old Daka and Supreme Leader Kylo both have max health still, and it's ludicrous. Here's high ground again, and they're still just hitting Zombie. You can see me motioning it to the advantage thing in chat, for zombie, and it's taken me forever to get my ult because I'm only hitting with 2 characters, and like I'm not critting because I'm facing Kenobi here. And so eventually, once you can get the AoE and all that stuff, then you're good to go. But it's a little bit dumb, honestly. Like this is absolutely not the intention by CG. I mean, very clearly not. So even though it's a neat counter and it will work for a little bit, don't count on it. I just thought I'd include it in this video. So that being said, guys, let's not make you watch that again. So that's about it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Hopefully you guys liked it. Scarif Rebel Pathfinder is a kind of fun addition to the REY team. It's cheap, and that's the nice thing about it. You can use your Basti somewhere else or something. So that being said, folks, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails, and so does Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Sometimes, rarely, almost never, if we're being honest.